I would like to thank one of my subscribers, Del Ben L. Thank you for sending this article to me. Special report, The Aging Childless Future. Ladies and gentlemen, many countries on this earth, especially in the West, are shrinking in population. So babies per woman, 1950 to 2100. Since the dawn of humans, we have faced, in this century, we are facing the challenge of an older population that's dying out and a younger population that can't replace them. And that's a problem because now you have your elderly, which they can't reproduce life. They can't work, so they're not part of the labor force. And most elderly people in this country are on fixed income. So they're not going to be the people that motivate the economy in the future. Not at 80 years old. So the shrinking is at an alarming rate. And we have spoken about this in other videos. So why it matters. A growing youthful population is typically a bedrock sign of vitality. In the industrial age, that's included a growing economy, greater opportunity, advancing technology, and a more comfortable retirement for older people. The turnaround on all continents except Africa means supporting an increasing number of retired people with many fewer workers, and confronts the world with two primary solutions, both of them controversial. Loosen up, currently fraught politics around migration from still growing countries, or populate our countries with robot helpers. However, the case, almost no one seems prepared. People are going to have to work longer, experts say, and the U.S. requires major reforms in its programs for the elderly. Yeah. Okay, so largely because of Africa, the global population is forecast to continue rising through the century past 11 billion. But according to United Nations, there is a 23% chance the world population will stabilize or fall by then. I don't believe that. Africa will still be booming. They will still be booming. Some of these people are butt sore that put these stories out. So you got to understand, especially if they're from a group of people where they are not seeing any population growth, they're going to write stuff like this. So just take that with a grain of salt. By 2100, the population of the world's poorest countries will more than triple from 954 million in 2015 to 3.2 billion. Plus immigration, the populations of the US, Japan, and all of Europe are shrinking. By 2050, 48 countries or areas will have fewer people. They already got fewer people, y'all. There are places in Europe that have a minus population already. There, and I know Italy does. In fact, Italy just put out an article about their minus negative population. So they're already in the hole. They're not going to be able. If it wasn't for all of the people migrating and all of the Arabs going into those nations, most of them probably would have fell by now. It is the migrants and everybody going into the country, the outsiders, they're the only ones that are keeping it alive right now. They don't have enough population to keep themselves alive. Not anymore. To keep their countries going. So no matter how much they dislike the immigrants, if those immigrants all left, their asses will be in a financial hole. it's just not enough of them to keep those countries going. So, minus immigration, I'm just going to go down. Several will see a 15% decline, including Japan, the Balkans, and the Baltics, and some much more. In 2016, the fertility rate in the United States was the lowest it has ever been, according to the Center for Disease Control, but it was 1,765 births per 1,000 population, below the replacement rate of 2,100. At the same time, there will be more old people, and they're talking about people 80 and over. That's what, as far as the white population, that's how it's going to be. And like I said, those people cannot give birth. The only thing they can do at that point is get older and die. That's it. Global life expectancy will rise from about 70 in 2015 to 83 in 2100, according to UN figures, except Africa. By 2050, about a quarter of the world's population will be 60 or older. At about 900 million now, their numbers will rise to about 3.2 billion in 2100. By 2080, those 65 or older will be 29.1% of the global population, and 12.7% will be 80 or older, Eurostat said. The most worrying figure, the world will not have sufficient working age people to support the elderly. Currently, North America has just under 4 workers per retired person. 7 European countries have 3, and Japan has just a bit more than 2. By 2050, 7 Asian countries, 24 European, and 4 Latin American will fall below 2 workers per retired person, the UN said. This means a rising fiscal burden and slower economic growth than if the population was not aging, says Richard Jackson of the Global Aging Institute. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's a lot of countries that do not have replacement populations for the ones that die out. And Africa is definitely the exception. And if you listen to Phil the Advice Show, he had Dr. Mumby on there, and she was talking about all of the non-Black people that are moving into Africa, because they know, right, Africa is booming. They got population growth, and there are so many, the Chinese are there, and all of the European countries are there, and they are, building the infrastructure up, they're working, and the young population is really going to help as far as the future, workforce in Africa. So it pays to have that younger population, and you can tell that that is a viable population, because a lot of the European nations are going in there for the young populations to come to their country, France being one of the big ones. They're going in and they're trying to encourage the young to come to France. And really, that's all Europe can do. What are they going to do? If you're not reproducing yourself, you've got to depend on the immigrants and migrants coming to your country, or otherwise it's going to go under. You can't have an elderly population, be the only biggest thing you have in the country. Then that's pretty bad. And you're not reproducing yourself. Wow. they have no choice but to depend on outsiders at this point. They don't have a choice. Please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I will see you on the next video. Peace, family.